What's going on, guys? It is PJ back with another video. We are going to be continuing this whole DIY type of series, but today we're going to be painting the gas tank on my ZX6R. If you all seen some of the other vlogs, you could see that the previous owner of that bike started sanding the top of the tank and never got around to finishing it. So we are going to journey several thousand miles to AutoZone. It's actually right there from my porch, literally right there. And grab some primer and see if we can't get the tank off. Oh man, you're so awesome! We're going to be sanding the tank, priming it, painting it, and clearing it all in today's video. So I'm going to hop in whatever car will start because it has been absolutely cold here in West Virginia. I have not started the cars like I should have or kept them on a battery tender. I'm going to try to take the 3000 GT. I'm not sure if it'll start. So asking the big guy upstairs, please just let the car start. Right, guys and gals, moment of truth. Let's see if she'll start. Oh yeah. Okay guys, so my GoPro died on the way back from AutoZone. I put it on charge for a minute. Anyway, I've already taken off the seat, the two side panels, and now we're down to here. I took the bolts out of the front of the tank and Alright guys, so my GoPro died on my way back from AutoZone, so I went ahead and got started on this because time is kind of slim today. So where we're at right now, I went ahead and pulled the tank off. Two bolts here, there was one big bolt here, took off the fuel pump, and well, left the fuel pump but took off the line. And there was also one plug that went in here and the overflow line. Took the sides off, which were an absolute pain. There was actually 3 bolts on each one, here, here, and here. And then here, here, and here. I also took off the bracket that holds the tank to the frame, and I'm going to leave the fuel pump and I'm going to tape all of that up. So, if you guys forgot, this is what the tank looked like. The previous owner started to sand it before I got the bike and never did finish it. So we're going to see if we cannot make this look a little bit better. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to look better than that. Alright guys, so got the tank off, completely disassembled. Got the gas cap off, taped up that hole, and the fuel pump and the little wire coming off of it is also taped up. So I'm going to hit this with some really coarse grit sandpaper. It actually has some surface rust on it. The previous owner did, I think, try to paint it. Had some runs. I don't know if you can see those or if the GoPro will pick them up. Has some there, little spots up here, and a couple on this side as well. So I'm going to try to sand all of those down and see how smooth I can get it. Hit it with some primer, put up a couple coats of it, and then sand the primer to get it smooth, and then start putting some coats of paint on. Alright, so hit it with the coarse grit sandpaper. Got most of the surface rust off of the areas that were exposed. Got the runs sanded out, and I hit everything with a light scuff. So I'm going to throw some primer on this after I clean it and see exactly what else we need to sand, because I did get sandable primer, so should show us, you know, pretty much what needs sanded and what's okay. Alright, so I got the first coat of the sandable primer down now. As you can see, I actually got white primer, which was, in retrospect, a mistake because it's a little harder to see where the tank was already white. But you can see that this outline of where they had already sanded is still there. So I'm going to build up some of this primer, and then we're going to start hitting it with some finer grit sandpaper to see if we can't kind of smooth all of that out. So I'm going to let this dry, hit it with about 3 or 4 more coats, and then let it dry for a while, see if we can't wet sand that out, and then start shooting some color to it. Okay, so it now has 5 coats of sandable primer on it. As you can see, you can still see some of the imperfections. So I'm going to give this a couple hours to really dry, and then we will hit it with 320, then 800, and then we'll hit it with 1000 to get it completely smoothed out, and then we'll shoot some color on it. Because honestly, it can't look any worse than what it did, even if it doesn't come out perfect. So, not shooting for perfection on this. The bike is not perfect. It has aftermarket fairings on it that are not perfect. And until I shoot for perfection, we will not shoot for perfection in this little project we've got going on here either.
One eternity later.
Alright guys, it's been about 4.5 or 5 hours since I laid on the primer. Had a family thing to attend to, and we're back. So like I said, you can still see kind of the outline of where all of that was. So we're going to hit this with some sandpaper and see if we can't get this to smooth out a little bit. Alright, so we hit it with 320 first, but I realized that that wasn't going to do the job, so I backed down to 220. Then hit it with 300, then 400, then 800. And now, for the most part, everything is out of it. There's some deeper stuff that I'm not really going to worry about. Like I said, I'm not trying to make this be perfect, but I did want most of that out. So, I'm going to let this dry, see if I can heat up this room a little bit, and then we're going to shoot some color on it. Alright, so 4 coats of white has now been placed. It's looking worlds better than what it did before. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but still a lot better than what it was. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then we're going to spray some clear and see how this thing turns out, and hopefully get it back on the bike tonight. Alright guys, the tank has been clear coated, 3 coats of clear. It does have a couple of imperfections that I will probably have to sand out. It is a little cold in here, and the clear ran just a little bit on the front of the tank. So I'm going to wet sand and buff that tomorrow. But overall, the tank looks a whole lot better than what it did. But it is really late, so I'm going to call it quits for today. I'm going to let this dry overnight. I'm going to hit it with some sandpaper, and then I will do an update video when I put it back on the bike. And I also painted the gas cap gloss black as well for a nice contrast, so it keeps with the theme of the bike. So with that, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Please hit subscribe. Keep up with all of the MotoP content. More will be coming to you as the weather warms up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.